Another week goes by, another nice patch from, Embark Studios. They've been on top of a lot of these glitches, metas, as far as in weapons, glitches that can obviously impact PvP. So, again, props to them. I'm just glad they are very on top of their game and keeping it as polished as they possibly can. One of the first fixes for this newer patch is exploit mitigation mechanisms have been added for all locked rooms, for all maps. A lot of people were actually getting into these locked doors various different ways, and it's very annoying because, you grind, you unlock a key card, and people are getting in without even having to find the key card. So that could be very annoying, and it feels like, why even, collect keys when you could just, find different ways to enter in these locked rooms, without having a key card or having access to a certain room. So, that kind of kills the balance of the game. And, it's going to have people getting loot that they didn't deserve in the first place. So, fixing something like that is very great. I love to hear that. And another issue it will definitely cause is people will get into these locked rooms, they'll loot it out, and they'll wait for people to get in. And, you could get caught off guard because it will be shown as locked because, they used a glitch to get in. It's happened to me and my friend one time. I was playing my boy Mello, and we had to unlock the door. So I'm like, all right, nobody's in here. There's no way, right? And when we got up there, we got ambushed by a duo, basically just sitting up in one of these control towers, I believe. And we didn't know anybody was in there because, of course, the door was locked. So they obviously used the glitch to get in. So we had no anticipation for anybody being in the room. Plus, anyways, it was still going to be a bad situation. It was one of those where you had to zip line up. And yeah, it puts you at a big disadvantage. So yeah, definitely glad that is, being fixed. It says fix the gun exploit that allowed you to shoot quicker than intended by swapping to a quick use item and back. So this is referring to the El Toro glitch where people use El Toro, which is very, very strong for PvP. And they would, basically swap over to one of their quick use items, whether it be, I think, bandages or, just anything that's over there. Like, as soon as they shoot, they'll switch to it and switch back, and it will basically allow them to, like, double or triple the rounds per minute of the El Toro. It's already very strong by itself, and people are able to shoot at a super fast rate. So, that just broke PvP for a while. I haven't experienced people using it because most of the routes I do run are in like unpopular spots or on the outskirts of the map. So I haven't been going into those, those hot zones where, the red areas where the loot value is high. I don't go to those areas too often, and I've found a lot of great things by avoiding those areas for now. I mean, I do have the setups for PvP. I like running a Pharaoh and I think the Argiletto. That is very great combo because the 3-round burst, big magazine. I used the Pharaoh. Watch this, pretty much to pop the armor off, and look at that, pretty much an easy kill. And look at that, easy. Rips most of the armor off. This guy actually had a medium shield on, I believe so, because when I was looting him, he had like a medium shield. So yeah, that shit rips off armor. I love that setup. It's very cheap and it's, very easy to replace. I think it's, what is it, like metal parts and rubber parts, something like that. You just craft some pharaohs. This one's obviously a green uncommon one. I'm only using these because it's actually a great assault rifle on its own, but also I had a whole bunch of them from raiding, so I might as well use them. It comes in handy. With this setup, I was even able to beat Venator like 4s, like landing a nice shot with a Pharaoh and then like, just finishing them off with the AR, the 3-round burst assault rifle. Definitely beautiful. The exterior access to Spaceport's control tower locked room has been blocked off. Not really sure. I don't play Spaceport too often. Spaceport and Blue Gate are probably some of the least played maps I have. I usually just run that map specifically with my friend Mello, and doesn't, I don't know, I don't really try those maps because the two maps I like the most for the honestly the most part is gonna be Dam Battlegrounds, and I believe it's called, yeah, Buried City, because I already know routes there. I've been getting great loot, especially on the solo runs. I have a lot of blueprints that people still are looking for, you know, like the Tempest blueprint. Which else? I got like the Renegade, the Vent, the Venator. I pretty much got like what everyone wants. You know, the one I'm looking for the most is the Wolf Pack, and Buried City seems to have like a really great room to farm, and also I have a great route for it, so I just stick to those maps, honestly. It says fix an issue that sometimes cause low resolution textures in the main menu. Something like that I have not experienced. I play on PC. I never really seen, you know, that issue at all, but glad it's getting fixed. Like I said, more polish to the game. You know, the game's been out for like what, about a month. We already had a few patches and a few changes to the meta. Now the El Toro meta and the Venator meta as well is gonna be a lot more balanced. So with that glitch being out, beautiful. Plus, you know, on top of that, they nerfed the vent and, you know, try to balance out the gun. So yeah, the game is becoming better and better. You know, the less broken things in PvP, the better. Because I come from a game called The Division 2, and, you know, I didn't really like how many bullets it took to kill people. But besides that, there was a lot of broken PvP metas and setups that would just go, you know, unpatched, or, you know, they wouldn't even acknowledge them as issues. So, you know, it's so refreshing to have Embark Studios just pretty much, you know, patch them immediately. Like, metas aren't even lasting more than a week or two. And of course, if the issues are easier to fix, they'll try to fix it as soon as possible. Ain't gonna lie, I got a Rocketeer on my ass right now, man. You know, this was a very annoying thing I keep coming across. I keep getting these late spawns, and unfortunately, you know, I wasn't able to really do much because I did want to explore a little bit more and try to, you know, see if the Ruby residence was clear. Pretty sure it was, but after I killed that person, I was like, man, I'm trying to get out of here. There's not that much time left. I don't want to waste it. And I got forced to have to run 1,000 meters to like a very bad extraction point. It's one of those extraction points where it has like a control tower looking right over it. And like, you know, like when I get over there, I actually even had somebody like watching and sniping. So I don't know if he was doing that arc or he was just waiting for players to try to press the button. It's very annoying. You know, I spawned into this one with barely 20 minutes left, and, you know, thankfully I know some outskirt routes, you know, that usually go untouched. But yeah, this was beautiful movement because this Rocketeer definitely disengaged. So thank God he did, you know, and I had to make my way another few hundred meters to eventually make my way here. And just being patient, you know. Fixed players being able to push each other by jumping on each other's backs. Yeah, that was the main way I saw people getting into those doors specifically. They would have somebody go to the corner of the room or the corner of the door that's locked that they don't have the key card to, and they would just basically keep jumping, like, well, not keep jumping. His friend, let's say, would just jump over and over, and it would eventually glitch the player forward and get them in the room without them needing the key and opening the door for us. And also, like I told you, it creates other issues as well. Sometimes people will just camp those high value rooms and catch people off guard because they're like, oh, look at this door's locked, I need to use my key card, and, you know, they assume that it's empty, and that assumption will get them killed. So I am very glad that it's fixed. It says fixed lighting artifacts that would sometimes occur when entering maps. I never really experienced this myself. Raider voice now correctly respects the selected voice option after restarting the game. I'm assuming that's the AI voice changers that they do have in the game. Not too sure. I don't really use those. So if you guys do, and that was a issue you guys were experiencing, fixed now. Yeah, these guys, I was pretty sure they were good because, you know, they were already working together. So, you know, I didn't think they were hostile at all. And yeah, I communicated with them a little bit. Not sure if they heard me, but while the Rocketeer was on them, I pressed the button for them so we could all get out. And yeah, the game is very wholesome when it works out in ways like this. You know, he was just basically very, very nice people, and we're able to somehow get out of that raid. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more Arc Raiders and Battlefield 6 content on the way. And yeah, stay tuned, man.